Okay, we're going to do a really quick, brief video on proving triangles to be congruent by side, side, side congruency postulate. Pretty simple, section 4.3. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Our section 4.2 that we did on Friday covered proving every angle to be congruent and every side to be congruent, so that if you proved every angle and every side to be congruent, then you had a triangle to be congruent. Okay, we're going to get away from that now. We're going to get into proving all the sides to be congruent. Now, if all the sides are congruent, the triangle is going to be congruent because of what we call the side, side, side postulate, or the SSS, which you can kind of see up here. Like I was telling some of the classes today, proofs are going to come back a little bit. So you need to be prepared for that, because one of the things that I know that some of you are struggling on is that vocab, so that you can put it into the proofs, the proper terminology, the proper theorems, the way it's stated. So please, please, please go back and study those and come back and see me for any of those problems that you might have had on your test. All right, so let's get started. Okay, basically what we want to talk about here is we want to prove that triangle CBA is congruent to triangle DEF. And the way we do that is simply by showing this. If CB is congruent to DE, and BA is congruent to EF, and FD is congruent to CA, since all three of those sides are the same, the triangles have to be congruent. So if this is like 3, 4, 5, and this is 3, 4, 5, then it would only be logical for those triangles to be congruent, because if those sides, which we're going to learn about later, the sides have a direct relationship with some of the angles of that triangle. And again, we'll talk more about that later, and that'll actually kind of lead us into a trig unit down the road. Okay, so let's take a look here. Again, we're using side, side, side congruency postulate. So if three sides are congruent to three sides of another triangle, then you have congruent triangles. So you can say triangle CBA is congruent to triangle DEF. And again, remember to make sure that you say the order properly. Okay, so if I say triangle ACB, then I have to call it congruent triangle FDE. Okay, I've got to go in the right order. It's very important that you understand that. All right, so let's look at these two triangles. We have triangle DLE. Okay, its DL's got a length of 12 centimeters, and LE's got a length of 5 centimeters. On the other side, we have a triangle I said DLE, so now we have DJE. Okay. So DJ is 12 centimeters and EJ is 5 centimeters. So here you have two congruent sides for sure. What side do we not know yet? That's right, that's that DE side. We don't know if it's congruent or not. Well, of course, DE is congruent to DE. And how do we know that? That's right, it's the reflexive property. Okay, just reflects itself. So now you have DJE, so DJE, triangle DJE, is congruent to triangle DLE. Notice the proper order there. And that's because all three sides, side, 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 that's all three sides are congruent. Okay? And we just write SSS in our proof, side, side, side. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to this section at all. Okay, let's look at another one here. Now, when I say there's not a whole lot to this section, please understand I'm not saying that it's going to be as simple as, oh, look, three sides of another triangle that are congruent, SSS. If you look here on these particular ones, now we have two triangles that we need to find out, are they congruent? Okay, so it's easy to figure out what A and B is. All we have to do is count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So AB is 6. Okay, we can figure out DE, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far, AB is congruent to DE. We can also figure out EF, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can also figure out CB, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8. So now we know CB and EF are congruent. So we have 6 for AB, 6 for DE, those are congruent. 8 for CB, 8 for EF. Okay, so we know two of them are congruent by basically counting. As long as we pay attention to the scales, we count, we know we're good. Okay, but in order for this to be proven to be congruent triangles, I need to have this third side to be congruent in order to use the side, side, side postulate. Okay, well, the third side I just can't count because it's not perfect like that. So how would I find the third side of the triangle? Okay, I know about half of you probably said I can use Pythagorean theorem, which you can use Pythagorean theorem if you have a right triangle. That's possible. But the other thing you could do is the distance formula. If I use the distance formula to find the distance here between C and A, that'll tell me the length as well. And then I can use the distance formula over here to find the distance between D and F. And if we look closely, negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6 squared. Okay? Up here, we have 1 minus 7, which is negative 6 squared. So that's 36, and this is 36. Here we have negative 2 minus 8, which is negative 2 minus 6, which is negative 8 squared, which is 64. Here we have 13 minus 8, which is 8 squared, which is 64. So you have 36 and 64, 36 and 64 in there. And essentially, I don't need to keep going with this because I know that those two numbers will both add together and they will be congruent to one another. Okay, and what you'll notice is we also have a 3, 4, 5 triangle. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so side, 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 that's what we learned today. Very simple section. We'll do our classwork tomorrow. Start studying for your vocabulary tonight because you have a vocabulary test on Wednesday. Should be easy. You've already written the words down. You should have already studied. You need that vocabulary to be successful on your test. Some of you are struggling on the test because of that. We've talked about that. Okay, we'll do your classwork tomorrow. Wednesday we'll have the quiz over 4.1 to 4.3 along with that vocab test, just like we will every 6 weeks. Okay, remember what I talked about today in class, your effort grade. Okay, you want to be successful, you got to put in the most amount of effort to get you where you need to be. Okay, have a good evening, good luck, I'll see you guys tomorrow.